Hello, today I'm going to share about the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator. The Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator, also known as the MBTI, is a self-report, question-based personality test. It is designed to identify a person's own personality, including one's likes, dislikes, strengths, weaknesses, possible career preferences, and compatibility with other people. In other words, MBTI is a measure of personality traits. First, let's explore how the MBTI began. It began with Katharine Briggs and her daughter, Isabel Briggs Myers, in the United States in the early mid-20th century. Both of them were fascinated by Jung's theory of psychological types, and realized that the theory could have real-life applications. Carl G. Jung published Psychological Types in 1921, and this intrigued them to see similarities between their ideas. However, Jung's theories of personal difference were much more developed. World War II was a huge impact on the idea development. They believed, if people could understand each other better, there would be less disagreement. Therefore, the post-war world could be a better place. Hence, Myers and Briggs began studying and developing an indicator that could be used to help understand the different temperaments. The indicator should help people to choose careers that were best suited to their personality types, and eventually lead healthier, happier lives. The first pen and pencil version of the questionnaire was created during the 1940s, and continued to fully develop the research instrument over the next 2 decades. Today, MBTI has become one of the most popular psychological instruments because it is relatively straightforward to use. Approximately 2 million US people complete the instruments yearly. What are the uses of the 16 personality types created by Isabel Myers and Katharine Briggs? Myers and Briggs created their personality typology to help people discover their own strengths and gain a better understanding of how people are different. Hence, it is important for you to discover your own personality type. You'll understand more clearly why you do the things you do. You will also gain confidence in your strengths and be better able to make decisions that suit your true nature. At the heart of Myers-Briggs theory are 4 planes: extroversion, or the letter E; introversion, or the letter I; sensing, or the letter S; intuition, or the letter N; thinking, or the letter T; feeling, or the letter F; judgment, or the letter J; perception, or the letter P. In Myers-Briggs theory, for each pair you prefer one style more than the other. Let us look into the differences of each pair in detail. The first pair of styles is extroversion and introversion. This two-of-a-kind is concerned with the direction of your energy. If you prefer to direct your energy to deal with people, things, situations, or the outer world, then your preference is for extroversion. If you prefer to direct your energy to deal with ideas, information, explanations or beliefs, or the inner world, then your preference is for introversion. The extroversion-introversion dichotomy was first explored by Jung in his theory of personality types as a way to describe how people respond and interact with the world around them. While these terms are familiar to most people, the way in which they are used in the MBTI differs somewhat from their popular usage. Extroverts, also often spelled extroverts, are outward turning and tend to be action-oriented, enjoy more frequent social interaction, and feel energized after spending time with other people. Introverts are inward turning and tend to be thought-oriented, enjoy deep and meaningful social interactions, and feel recharged after spending time alone. We all exhibit extroversion and introversion to some degree, but most of us tend to have an overall preference for one or the other. The second pair is sensing and intuition. The second pair concerns the type of information or things that you process. If you prefer to deal with facts, what you know, to have clarity, or to describe what you see, then your preference is for sensing. If you prefer to deal with ideas, look into the unknown, to generate new possibilities or to anticipate what isn't obvious, then your preference is for intuition. the letter N is used for intuition, because I has already been allocated to introversion. This scale involves looking at how people gather information from the world around them. Just like with extroversion and introversion, all people spend some time sensing and intuiting depending on the situation. According to the MBTI, people tend to be dominant in one area or the other. People who prefer sensing tend to pay a great deal of attention to reality, particularly to what they can learn from their own senses. They tend to focus on facts and details, and enjoy getting hands-on experience. Those who prefer intuition pay more attention to things like patterns and impressions. They enjoy thinking about possibilities, imagining the future, and abstract theories. The third pair is thinking and feeling. The third set reflects your style of decision-making. If you prefer to decide on the basis of objective logic, using an analytic and detached approach, then your preference is for thinking. If you prefer to decide using values, for example, on the basis of what or who you believe is important, then your preference is for feeling. This scale focuses on how people make decisions based on the information that they gathered from their sensing or intuition functions. People who prefer thinking place a greater emphasis on facts and objective data. They tend to be consistent, logical, and impersonal when weighing a decision. Those who prefer feeling are more likely to consider people and emotions when arriving at a conclusion. The final pair is judgment and perception. It describes the type of lifestyle you adopt. If you prefer your life to be planned and well-structured, then your preference is for judging. This is not to be confused with a judgmental, which is quite different. If you prefer to go with the flow, to maintain flexibility, and respond to things as they arise, then your preference is for perception. The final scale involves how people tend to deal with the outside world. Those who lean toward judging prefer structure and firm decisions. People who lean toward perceiving are more open, flexible, and adaptable. These two tendencies interact with the other scales. How do we decipher each combination of MBTI's four-letter code? When we put these four letters together, we get a personality type code. Having 4 pairs to choose from means there are 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. For example, having preferences for I, S, T and J gives a personality type of ISTJ. Though we have preferences, we still use all 8 styles to different extents. In other words, if you have more preference on introversion, you still spend some time extroverting. No one personality type is the best or better than another. MBTI isn't an instrument designed to look for impairment or abnormality. Instead, its goal is simply to help us to learn more about ourselves. If we were to give a name to each composite, then they will be like these. ISTJ, the inspector. ISTP, the crafter. ISFJ, the protector. ISFP, the artist. INFJ, the advocate. INFP, the mediator. INTJ, the architect. INTP, the thinker. ESTP, the persuader. ESTJ, the director. ESFP, the performer. ESFJ, the caregiver. ENFP, the champion. ENFJ, the giver. ENTP, the debater. ENTJ, the commander. According to the Myers-Briggs Foundation, it is important to remember that all types are equal, and that every type has its own uniqueness. When working in group situations in school or at work, for example, recognizing your own strengths and understanding the strengths of others is extremely helpful. When you are working toward completing a project with other members of a group, you might realize that certain members of the group are skilled and talented at performing particular areas. By recognizing these differences, you can better assign tasks and work together on achieving the team's goals. If you like today's sharing, do hit the subscribe button and share my video to the one that you love and care. There will be more videos on each personality's code. I'm NutShell. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again.